Every time you take a bite of food, you're not just eating, you're sending powerful signals throughout your body. These signals can either help your body resist disease, or they can fuel the very processes that allow disease to take root. When it comes to cancer, the food choices we make each day can quite literally tip the balance between health and illness. Let's start with what we know about cancer at its core. Cancer doesn't appear overnight. It begins when normal cells in our body are damaged and start to grow out of control. But here's something fascinating. Our body already has natural defense systems designed to stop cancer before it ever becomes dangerous. Systems like our immune defense, our blood vessel system, our metabolism, and even our microbiome all play a role in keeping cancer in check. The foods we eat can either strengthen these defenses or weaken them. Take anti-angiogenic foods, for example. These are foods that help starve cancer by cutting off the blood supply it needs to grow. Think of berries like blueberries and blackberries. Rich in anthocyanins, green tea with its powerful catechins, tomatoes loaded with lycopene, and cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, kale, and cauliflower. These foods activate our body's natural ability to regulate blood vessel growth, preventing tumors from hijacking the system. Now, imagine foods that do the opposite, foods that actually help cancer thrive. Processed meats, sugary drinks, refined carbohydrates, and foods filled with trans fats create an environment of inflammation and excess insulin. This is dangerous because high levels of insulin and chronic inflammation feed cancer cells, helping them multiply faster and spread more easily. When we consume too much added sugar, it doesn't just raise our blood glucose, it sends a message to our cells to store energy and grow. Cancer cells hijack this signal. They love sugar. It's their favorite fuel. But the story doesn't end there. Our immune system is another major line of defense. Foods rich in fiber, polyphenols, and healthy fats help our immune cells recognize and destroy abnormal cells before they can become cancerous. Think of foods like walnuts, olive oil, garlic, mushrooms, and pomegranates. Each of these contains natural compounds that activate the body's defense pathways, helping immune cells patrol more effectively. Then there's the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living inside us. A healthy gut can literally shape how our body responds to cancer. When we eat fiber-rich foods like oats, lentils, beans, and vegetables, we're not just feeding ourselves, we're feeding the beneficial bacteria that protect us. They produce short-chain fatty acids that lower inflammation and boost our immune system's ability to find and destroy cancer cells. On the other hand, diets heavy in processed foods, refined oils, and artificial ingredients disrupt this delicate ecosystem. They kill off good bacteria and allow harmful ones to thrive. This imbalance can weaken our immune system and promote inflammation throughout the body. And let's not forget the power of natural plant compounds, bioactives that scientists are still discovering. Curcumin in turmeric, sulforaphane in broccoli sprouts, resveratrol in red grapes, and epigallocatechin gallate in green tea are just a few examples. But these compounds don't just protect cells from damage. They can also turn off the genes that trigger cancer growth and switch on the ones that suppress it. Even the way we cook matters. Grilling or charring meat at high temperatures creates carcinogens called heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, chemicals that can damage DNA. Steaming, boiling, or baking are far safer options. Small choices like this add up meal after meal, year after year. Every forkful, every sip, every snack is either helping your body build resilience or tearing it down. Your food can be your strongest ally or your quietest enemy. The decision lies in your hands, and it begins with what's on your plate. Every day we eat for energy, for comfort, for pleasure. But what most people don't realize is that every bite also sends chemical instructions to our cells. These instructions can help us repair, regenerate, and protect ourselves from disease, or they can encourage damage, inflammation, and the uncontrolled growth of cancer. The difference lies not in one meal, but in the consistent choices we make over time. The foods that fight cancer don't come from a lab or a pharmacy, they come from the soil, the sea, and the garden. Nature has been designing our medicine for thousands of years. It's just disguised as food. Our bodies are not defenseless. In fact, we have a remarkable set of built-in systems designed to protect us. These include our immune system, our blood vessel system, our DNA repair mechanisms, our microbiome, and our metabolism. Each of these plays a critical role in preventing cancer from ever gaining a foothold. The foods we eat can powerfully influence all five of these systems. When they work together, the human body becomes a fortress of resistance. Let's start with the immune system, our personal army. Every day, our body produces abnormal cells. These aren't necessarily dangerous at first, but if left unchecked, some of them can become cancerous. Normally, immune cells called natural killer cells patrol the body, scanning for anything that looks suspicious. When they detect a damaged or precancerous cell, they destroy it. But for this system to work at its best, it needs proper fuel. Mushrooms, for example, shiitake, maitake, and reishi, contain natural compounds that activate immune cells, increasing their cancer-fighting abilities. Green tea's cations, especially EGCG, have also been shown to enhance immune surveillance, helping the body recognize and eliminate abnormal cells more effectively. Another critical defense system is angiogenesis, the process of growing new blood vessels. Our body needs to regulate this carefully. Too few blood vessels and tissues starve, too many, and diseases like cancer can flourish. Tumors exploit this system, tricking the body into feeding them. But certain foods help prevent this hijacking. Berries, red grapes, soy, parsley, and green tea can all inhibit excess vessel growth. Lycopene in tomatoes is another powerful angiogenesis inhibitor, particularly protective against prostate and breast cancers. These foods essentially cut off the supply lines that tumors need to grow. Now consider the foods that do the opposite, those that encourage the growth of these harmful blood vessels. Diets high in refined carbohydrates, added sugars, and processed meats have been linked to increased levels of insulin like growth factors. These hormones don't just regulate blood sugar, they also stimulate blood vessel growth. That's why excessive sugar and refined starches can act like fertilizer for cancer cells. When your diet is dominated by these foods, you're not just satisfying hunger, you're feeding potential disease. DNA damage is another key part of the cancer story. Every second, countless reactions occur within our cells that can damage DNA. Normally, our body repairs this damage efficiently. But when the repair mechanisms fail, or when the damage becomes too frequent, mutations accumulate. Some of these mutations can trigger cancer. Fortunately, foods rich in antioxidants can protect DNA from damage and even enhance the repair process. Blueberries, pomegranates, walnuts, and dark chocolate with high cocoa content are loaded with polyphenols and flavonoids that neutralize free radicals before they can harm DNA. Interestingly, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts go even further. They don't just protect DNA, they activate detoxification enzymes in the liver that neutralize carcinogens before they can do harm. Sulforaphane, one of their active compounds, has been shown to turn on over 200 protective genes in the human body. Broccoli sprouts, in particular, contain up to 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli, making them a concentrated anti-cancer powerhouse. And then there's the microbiome, the universe within us. Trillions of microorganisms living in our gut influence everything from digestion to immunity to mental health. But they also play a profound role in cancer prevention. A diverse and balanced microbiome helps reduce inflammation, strengthens the intestinal barrier, and regulates the immune system. Fiber, rich foods like beans, lentils, oats, apples, and vegetables act as prebiotics, food for our gut bacteria. When these microbes digest fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which have anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer effects. In contrast, diets high in processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and refined oils can disrupt this delicate ecosystem. When the microbiome becomes imbalanced, condition known as dysbiosis, it can promote inflammation and even allow harmful bacteria to produce carcinogenic compounds. Studies have shown that people with poor gut diversity are more likely to develop colon cancer. The gut is not a separate organ. It's part of our immune and metabolic defense systems, and it thrives when we feed it real, natural food. Healthy fats are another important piece of the puzzle. Not all fats are created equal. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, have been shown to reduce inflammation and slow the growth of certain cancers, including breast and colon cancers. Olive oil, particularly extra virgin, contains oleocanthal, a compound that not only reduces inflammation, but can directly cause cancer cells to self-destruct in laboratory studies. In contrast, trans fats and excessive omega-6 fatty acids from processed vegetable oils can increase inflammation and promote tumor growth. One of the most fascinating discoveries in recent years is how certain foods can literally turn genes on or off. This field, called epigenetics, shows us that our genes are not our destiny. Our environment and our diet can modify how those genes behave. Compounds like curcumin in turmeric, resveratrol in grapes, and quercetin in onions have all been found to activate tumors, suppressing genes while silencing cancer, promoting ones. Turmeric, especially when combined with black pepper, which enhances its absorption, can inhibit multiple signaling pathways that cancer cells rely on to survive. The metabolic system also plays a massive role. Cancer cells have a different metabolism than healthy cells. They rely heavily on glucose for energy, even in the presence of oxygen. This phenomenon is known as the Warburg effect. That's why a diet high in added sugars and refined carbohydrates provides ideal fuel for cancer cells. On the other hand, foods that help regulate blood sugar, like whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and non-starchy vegetables, help keep insulin levels stable, creating a less favorable environment for cancer growth. Herbs and spices, though often used in small amounts, pack tremendous anti-cancer potential. Garlic, ginger, turmeric, rosemary, thyme, and cinnamon all contain natural bioactives that reduce inflammation and inhibit tumor growth. Garlic, for example, contains allicin, which can interfere with the formation of carcinogens in the stomach and slow cancer progression. Ginger's gingerols and shoggols can suppress inflammation and induce apoptosis, the process by which damaged cells self-destruct. These are not exotic supplements. They're everyday ingredients that can transform a meal into medicine. It's also important to talk about beverages. What we drink can have just as much impact as what we eat. Green tea, as mentioned, is a powerhouse. Coffee, too, has surprising protective effects due to its polyphenols and antioxidants. Even moderate amounts of red wine, with its resveratrol, have been linked to a lower risk of certain cancers, though the benefits are lost when consumption becomes excessive. On the flip side, alcohol in general is a well-known carcinogen, particularly for cancers of the mouth, throat, breast, and liver. The key is moderation and understanding that no amount of alcohol is completely risk-free. Another often overlooked factor is how food interacts with our hormones. Certain foods, especially those high in fiber, help remove excess estrogen from the body. But this is crucial because high levels of estrogen can fuel hormone-related cancers like breast and ovarian cancer. Flax seeds, for instance, are rich in lignans, plant compounds that help balance hormone levels and inhibit tumor growth. Soy, despite controversy, has been shown in numerous studies to reduce the risk of breast and prostate cancers when consumed in whole, minimally processed forms like tofu, tempeh, or edamame. Now let's look at cooking and preparation. When we fry, char, or grill meat at very high temperatures, we produce chemicals like heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These compounds can damage DNA and promote cancer development. Marinating meat in lemon, vinegar, or herbs before cooking can reduce these compounds dramatically. Cooking at lower temperatures, baking, steaming, or boiling can make a big difference. Even the oils we use matter. Unrefined oils like extra virgin olive or avocado oil are far safer and healthier than refined vegetable or seed oils. Color is another clue to a food's cancer-fighting power. Brightly colored fruits and vegetables contain pigments that serve as antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents. The red in tomatoes, the orange in carrots, the purple in eggplants, the green in spinach. All of these colors come from bioactive compounds that protect cells. The more colors on your plate, the broader your defense system. This is why a varied diet rich in plants is the cornerstone of cancer prevention. Fermented foods also deserve attention. Yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso contain beneficial bacteria that replenish the gut microbiome. These foods have been associated with a reduced risk of gastrointestinal cancers. The live cultures they contain not only support digestion, but also communicate directly with immune cells in the gut, improving surveillance against cancerous changes. Even simple lifestyle habits amplify the effect of diet. Regular physical activity, adequate sleep, and stress management all interact with the same biological pathways that food influences. Exercise, for example, improves insulin sensitivity, boosts immune function, and lowers inflammation. When combined with a diet full of anti-cancer foods, it creates an internal environment where cancer struggles to survive. There's another fascinating element: fasting and meal timing. Studies show that giving the body regular breaks from constant eating helps it repair itself. Intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating lowers insulin levels, enhances autophagy, the process of cleaning out damaged cells, and may slow cancer progression. Even something as simple as avoiding night eating and giving the body 12 to 14 hours between dinner and breakfast can improve metabolic health. Let's think about what we can add rather than just what to remove. Many people here want to eat cancer diet and think of restriction, but this is about abundance. It's about abundance of plant-based foods, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, herbs, and healthy oils. It's about discovering how delicious and satisfying real food can be when it's prepared with care. When you fill your plate with foods that defend your body, there's naturally less room for the ones that harm it. The foods that feed cancer. Ultra-processed snacks, sugary drinks, fried foods, refined grains, and processed meats are everywhere. They're cheap, convenient, and addictive. But they're also stripping our cells of vitality. Each time we choose a fresh fruit instead of a candy bar, or a home meal instead of fast food, we shift the chemistry of our body toward healing instead of harm. Science continues to uncover new layers of this story. Researchers have found that certain compounds in foods can even make cancer treatments more effective. For example, eating pomegranates, green tea, or turmeric may enhance the effects of chemotherapy and reduce side effects. Foods that support the microbiome can also improve how well the body responds to immunotherapy. This means that food isn't just about prevention. It's part of the healing process itself. What's truly empowering is that these discoveries put control back in our hands. Cancer is complex and influenced by many factors, but diet is one of the few that we can change today. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis to start protecting yourself. Every meal is an opportunity, a moment to nourish, to strengthen, and to heal. When you eat foods that fight cancer, you're not just preventing disease, you're activating health. You're telling your cells to stay strong, your immune system to stay alert, your metabolism to stay balanced. You're giving your body the message it was designed to herd, grow, repair, and protect. Food is information. Food is defense. Food is power. And when we choose wisely, food can be our most faithful ally in the lifelong fight against cancer. Every organ in your body listens to what you eat. Each meal delivers chemical messages that circulate through your bloodstream, entering your cells, influencing your DNA, and shaping how your body functions. Food doesn't just fill your stomach, it programs your biology. When we eat foods that fight cancer, we're not taking medicine, we're giving our body the natural tools it already understands. When we eat the wrong foods, we do the opposite. We disable those same protective systems and create the perfect environment for cancer to thrive. Think about it like this. Your body is a constantly moving city. Millions of repairs are happening every minute. Cells are being built, others are being destroyed, new blood vessels are growing, and old ones are being dismantled. The raw materials for all these processes come from what you eat. If you supply clean, nourishing ingredients, your cells work efficiently. If you flood them with toxins, processed chemicals, and excess sugar, the machinery starts to break down. And when that happens repeatedly, damage accumulates. That's how cancer begins. Let's explore how certain foods can strengthen this city of health from the inside out. Take polyphenols. These are natural compounds found in plants, and they're one of the most powerful cancer-fighting agents in nature. You find them in berries, grapes, green tea, dark chocolate, coffee, olive oil, and countless herbs and spices. Polyphenols neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage DNA and cause inflammation. But they also do more than that. They activate genes responsible for cellular repair and turn off those that promote tumor growth. Inflammation is one of the biggest triggers of cancer. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is like a slow, burning fire that never goes out. Over time, it damages tissues, alters DNA, and weakens the immune system. Many modern foods, processed oils, refined sugar, excessive red meat, and alcohol keep this fire burning. Anti-inflammatory foods, on the other hand, are like water for that fire. Fatty fish with omega-3s, leafy greens, turmeric, ginger, walnuts, and flax seeds all contain compounds that cool the inflammation and restore balance. When you eat wild salmon, for example, you're giving your body DHA and EPA, omega-3 fats that are built into the walls of your cells, making them more flexible and resistant to damage. That these fats also block the production of inflammatory molecules. When you eat turmeric, its compound curcumin interferes with several inflammatory pathways at once, reducing oxidative stress and even suppressing cancer cell proliferation. These are not magic bullets. They're part of a symphony of actions that work together every day to keep your body in harmony. Sugar, on the other hand, is a silent disruptor. When we consume it in excess, it floods our bloodstream with glucose, forcing the pancreas to release insulin to manage the surge. Insulin isn't just a blood sugar regulator, it's also a growth signal. It tells cells to absorb energy and divide. Cancer cells take advantage of this. They thrive on glucose and respond aggressively to insulin. The more sugar we eat, the more fuel we give them. What's worse, processed sugars are stripped of fiber and nutrients, so they enter the bloodstream rapidly, causing spikes and crashes that stress the body repeatedly. But nature offers balance. Fruits contain natural sugars, yes, but they come packaged with fiber, antioxidants, and water. This slows absorption and prevents the insulin spikes that processed sweets cause. Apples, for example, contain pectin, a soluble fiber that not only stabilizes blood sugar but also feeds beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria, in turn, produce compounds that protect the colon from cancer. So, it's not just about sugar itself, it's about context. The form in which we eat it determines whether it heals or harms. Our metabolism plays a major role in determining whether we feed or fight cancer. When we overeat, consume highly processed foods, and rarely move, we put constant pressure on our metabolic system. Insulin levels rise, fat accumulates in the liver, and cells become resistant to insulin's signals. This metabolic dysfunction creates an environment ripe for disease. By eating whole, unprocessed foods and maintaining a healthy weight, we lower insulin and reduce inflammation, making it harder for cancer to gain a foothold. Fiber is another unsung hero. Most people think of it only in terms of digestion, but it's one of the most protective nutrients against cancer, especially colon cancer. Fiber acts like a broom, sweeping toxins and waste out of the digestive tract. But more importantly, it feeds the gut bacteria that produce butyrate, a fatty acid that nourishes colon cells and reduces inflammation. Studies have shown that people who eat high-fiber diets have a significantly lower risk of developing colorectal cancer. Colorful plant foods are particularly potent. The colors we see in nature, deep purples, greens, oranges, are the result of pigments called phytonutrients. Each color represents a different group of compounds with unique protective effects. Red foods like tomatoes, watermelon, and pink grapefruit contain lycopene, which has been linked to a reduced risk of prostate and breast cancers. Orange and yellow foods like carrots, pumpkins, and mangoes are rich in carotenoids, which enhance immune function and protect DNA. Green vegetables contain chlorophyll and glucosinolates, which help detoxify harmful chemicals. Purple and blue foods like blueberries, blackberries, and eggplant contain anthocyanins that reduce inflammation and protect blood vessels. When you fill your plate with these colors, you're creating a nutritional rainbow that works synergistically to support your body's natural defenses. It's not one food or one nutrient, it's the pattern that matters. The more variety you include, the stronger your protection becomes. Herbs and spices offer some of the most concentrated forms of these bioactive compounds. Garlic, for instance, contains allicin, which activates enzymes that detoxify carcinogens in the body. Rosemary has carnosic acid, which can protect cells from DNA damage. Oregano and thyme contain carvacrol and thymol, compounds that can slow the spread of cancer cells. Even cinnamon helps by stabilizing blood sugar and reducing inflammation. When you cook with herbs and spices, you're not just adding flavor, you're adding medicine. Mushrooms are another remarkable example. Beyond their immune-boosting power, they contain polysaccharides called beta-glucans, which activate macrophages and natural killer cells, two types of immune cells that identify and destroy cancer cells. Some mushrooms, like turkey tail and reishi, have even been studied for their ability to enhance the effectiveness of chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Including mushrooms regularly in your diet, whether in soups, just stir-fry, or salads, can provide ongoing immune support. Green tea is one of the simplest yet most powerful beverages for cancer prevention. Its catechins, particularly EGCG, inhibit tumor growth, reduce blood vessel formation in cancers, and even trigger apoptosis, the natural death of damaged cells. Drinking a few cups daily floods your system with these protective molecules. Similarly, coffee, when consumed without excessive sugar or cream, provides antioxidants that can lower the risk of liver and colorectal cancers. These are small daily habits that accumulate big benefits over time. Cooking techniques matter as much as ingredients. When you fry or grill at high temperatures, especially meats, you create carcinogenic compounds that can damage DNA. But marinating meat in olive oil, lemon juice, or herbs before cooking can reduce these harmful compounds by up to 90%. Choosing steaming, baking, or slow cooking preserves nutrients and avoids dangerous byproducts. The way we handle food, how we chop, cook, and combine it can either enhance or weaken its protective power. Alcohol, while often seen as harmless in moderation, is actually one of the most preventable causes of cancer. It's broken down in the body to acetaldehyde, a compound that damages DNA and interferes with repair mechanisms. Even small amounts can increase the risk of breast and mouth cancers. If you do drink, keeping it minimal and pairing it with antioxidant-rich foods can help reduce harm. Better yet, replace some drinks with herbal teas, sparkling water, or pomegranate juice, options that hydrate and protect instead of damage. There's another dimension of cancer defense that's often overlooked: emotional and mental well-being. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline, hormones that can suppress immunity and increase inflammation. When stress becomes constant, it creates an environment that cancer cells can exploit. Foods rich in magnesium, vitamin C, and omega-3s help calm the nervous system, while fermented foods like yogurt and kimchi support the gut-brain axis, which plays a key role in emotional balance. Pairing good nutrition with mindfulness, sleep, and physical activity creates a powerful synergy that strengthens every defense mechanism in the body. Speaking of sleep, it's one of the most underestimated cancer-fighting tools we have. During deep sleep, the body produces melatonin, a hormone that not only regulates the sleep cycle, but also has antioxidant and anti-cancer effects. Melatonin helps suppress the growth of certain tumors and improves immune surveillance. But late-night eating, alcohol, and blue light exposure can all interfere with melatonin production. Creating a consistent sleep routine, finishing dinner at least 3 hours before bed, dimming lights, and avoiding screens helps maintain this natural defense. Let's not forget hydration. Water flushes toxins, supports the lymphatic system, and keeps every organ functioning efficiently. When we're dehydrated, our cells are less able to repair themselves and remove waste. Drinking water infused with lemon or herbs adds antioxidants and encourages better detoxification. Avoiding sugary sodas and energy drinks removes one of the biggest sources of harmful chemicals and excess calories from the diet. Plant-based proteins like lentils, beans, chickpeas, and quinoa are excellent alternatives to processed meats. Not only are they rich in fiber and minerals, but they also lack the preservatives and nitrites found in deli meats and sausages. These additives are known to form carcinogenic compounds in the stomach. By shifting the balance of your meals toward plants, you reduce exposure to these risks while increasing the intake of protective nutrients. Soy is a fascinating example of how natural foods are often misunderstood. Some fear it because of its phytoestrogens, but these plant compounds actually help balance hormones rather than disrupt them. Studies show that people who eat moderate amounts of whole soy foods have lower rates of breast and prostate cancers. The key is to focus on traditional soy forms, edamame, tofu, and tempeh, rather than highly processed soy isolates found in protein bars and supplements. Even something as simple as meal timing can change how your body responds to food. When you give your body breaks between meals, it activates repair processes like autophagy, which removes damaged cells and reduces cancer risk. Eating within a 10-12-hour window each day allows insulin levels to fall and gives the body time to rest and regenerate. This doesn't mean starving. It means letting your body breathe between meals instead of constantly processing food. There's a beautiful truth that emerges from all of this: our relationship with food is a relationship with life itself. Every flavor, color, and texture we experience is a message from nature about how to thrive. When we align with those messages, choosing whole, vibrant, unprocessed foods, we tune our biology to health. When we ignore them, choosing convenience, speed, and artificial comfort, we create chaos within. A cancer may seem like a complex disease, but at its foundation, it's about imbalance. Cells growing when they shouldn't, signals going awry, systems being overwhelmed. A food helps restore balance. It brings the body back to the state it was designed to maintain, equilibrium. That's why cultures that eat traditional, plant-rich diets, Mediterranean, Okinawa, Nordic, tend to have far lower cancer rates than those dependent on processed Western foods. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start small. Add an extra serving of vegetables. Swap sugary drinks for green tea or water. Cook more at home with olive oil, garlic, and herbs. Try to fill half your plate with plants at each meal. These small shifts, repeated day after day, create enormous long-term benefits. Food is cumulative. The more good you feed your body, the more resilient it becomes. Your body has the wisdom to heal, to defend, and to regenerate, but it needs your cooperation. It needs you to choose foods that communicate the right messages. Foods that say, repair, protect, and thrive. The science is clear. What we eat can change the trajectory of our health. And the beauty of this truth is that it empowers us. You don't need to wait for permission or for the perfect plan or for a diagnosis. You can start today with your next meal, your next choice, your next bite. Every bite you take is a vote for or against your own health. The power to resist cancer doesn't come from a pill, a miracle cure, or a secret diet. It comes from the choices you make every single day. Food is not just fuel. It's information, it's defense, it's medicine. You hold that power in your hands every time you pick up a fork. When you choose foods that fight cancer, vibrant fruits, vegetables, whole grains, herbs, teas, and clean proteins, you are choosing life. You are training your body to heal, your cells to repair, and your immune system to protect. You are building a fortress from within, one meal at a time. So the next time you sit down to eat, remember your plate is not just a reflection of your taste. It's a reflection of your future. Feed your body what it understands. Nourish it with what nature intended. Because the most powerful medicine against cancer isn't found in a bottle. It's found on your plate.